What's good, y'all, man? I'm F1Mac out of St. Louis, Missouri. I'm a hip hop artist. Um, I've been doing this for a couple years now. I got my newest album out, Mac Gala, featuring a lot of talented people. I got Sir Michael Rocks on there, my brother Cool Louie on there, Chrissy B's on there, Bobby Bands, Fastlane AB. It's a great piece of artwork. I worked very hard on it. And not being cocky, but I feel like I got album of the year this year. So, um, man, it's just a blessing to be here, man. Shout out to M.O.B. and I love everything y'all doing, man. Being a hub for business like mine, and just connecting everybody that's on that grind, man. I salute y'all, and I'm happy to be here, man.
Man, we happy to have you, bro. Like I said before, it's always good to really network and build with people that's really out here moving and shaking. Dream chasing, like we like to say, and really just to kind of talk about some things that's actually going on in the industry, and share them gems. So real quick, man, what really inspired you to, really hop into the industry that you're in and, really take that leap, as an independent artist? And, how did you know it was the right path for you?
Well, just like anybody that's in this field or any field, when you're dealing with entrepreneurship, you start with a passion, and I always had a passion for music. If I didn't have a passion, I honestly I wouldn't be doing it at all. And then I tapped into, okay, there's a demand for my passion. There's a demand for what I do. There's a market for it. So why not get paid for something that I feel like I'm good at? Um, so yeah, start off there, and I just peeped the scene and I peeped the industry and seeing that there were people living the lifestyle that they wanted to, just being themselves and bringing their talent to the forefront. So I said, why not me? Why not me, and why not the talented people that I know? Uh,
Most
so it's just
definitely.
no brainer for me.
Most definitely. Speaking of people in the scene, man, I like to always talk about market research. It's something that's super important. Something that we always dive into, especially when we have new members onboarding. We just want to make sure that we getting out there. We know what's out there. Can you share a surprising insight you discovered doing your market research that really shaped your business? And really shape how you are as an artist?
For sure. Well, I would like to. When I started dealing with my marketing and my marketing strategy, I had to tap into people who've done it before. That was key for me. Um, I got a couple of people that are very close to me that are very successful in the industry, and just kind of tweaking their plan and what they've done already and their blueprint, tweaking it and making it work for me. So it deals with a lot of networking. You could be the most talented individual in the world, but if no one knows you or heard of you, it's a fruitless harvest. So um, basically, I've been dealing with a lot of the Google ads. I've been dealing with that as of lately, kind of tweaking that, putting the dollars behind my posts on social media. Social media is a tool. Uh, that's in front of all of us that's for all of us to use. You just got to put those dollars behind it, and whatever you're comfortable with, as far as your budget or whatnot. You just got to really go out there and take that chance on yourself, put those marketing dollars behind you. But that was big for me. um, Networking, talking to people who've done it before, and taking that chance on myself, and putting whatever extra dollars I had behind, whether that be promotional, talking to different pages who promote what I do as far as specifically hip hop. I like to look at it like a restaurant. You could cook the best food in the world, but if no one knows you've written a hole in the wall, no one knows that you have a restaurant. It doesn't matter. McDonald's, they come up with a new sandwich, they put the marketing dollars behind it to make sure that you know that they got something new on their menu. So I kind of try to view it like that.
Most definitely, most definitely. So, what were some of the things I know you was talking about? You had to tweak some things. What were some of the things that you really had to tweak? Really, when you first started getting into marketing yourself as an artist.
For sure, tweak my approach and my attitude really. Because when I started off, I was like, okay. I dropped my first project in 2020, Exotic Pack, during the pandemic. And I said, let me jump out here and do what I need to do from an artistic standpoint. In my mind, this is good product. It's going to take off. That's how I looked at it. It doesn't work like that. You have to actually put, like I said, put those dollars behind it. So the art just wasn't enough, and that's the main thing I had to tweak and humbling myself that, well, why would I play this blog $200 to post this video? Or that's a part of the game. That is the landscape of things where we are now. Unfortunately, it's not be quite frankly, it's not the 90s. You look at the movies, and you see a guy rapping on the corner, and a Escalade roll by, and they pick him up. You can rap and give you a deal. That's not how it works anymore. You got
Man,
to be active. You got to spend that. You got to come out that paper. You got to spend it, and you got to be consistent. And like I said, whatever that means, whatever is comfortable for you, if I'm being quite frankly, sometimes I got that to spend it on, and sometimes I got to go back in my budget and tweak. Okay, this month, this week, I'm gonna have to do a little bit less so I can hop in the studio and do X, Y, and Z, or whatever things that are outside of music I need to take care of. But that was the main thing. Humbling myself. Okay, you're good at what you do, whatever. But this is the landscape of things. This is how business works. You're an artist, but it's also a business. You got to
yeah.
spend it. You got to spend it. You got to spend it to make it. And it's a cliche, but it's true.
Yeah, I mean it's so crazy because we touched on this last week with DJ Team Lil Will, and it was the same thing he touched on. We actually just posted a highlight today with him talking about how talent is just 15%, and it's really all about the marketing and really investing in yourself. And really being strategic too. We talked a lot about that, and it's something that I've talked to different artists about all the time, because we all kind of start off where it's like, oh, we kind of we so passionate about what we do, we just think it's all about that. But it's time to really elevate and kind of really think past that. How else can we really elevate? What's some of the critical elements within your strategy that really set you apart from other artists?
I think, and to be quite frank and be candid, I'm getting even better at it. But just having the endurance. So I might pour an effort into it, whether it be an artistic effort or a financial effort, and I might not see those results right away. You just gotta keep at it and believe in yourself, And even when it don't really, uh, you don't see the results right away, you just gotta keep on believing in yourself. And I think that's something that I did, and I continue to do, and I continue to elevate it. And I know those results have came, and they're going to continue to multiply the more work I put in. But I think that's something that set me apart. I just kept at it, you know. When I didn't feel like doing it, when I didn't feel like recording, luckily I had good people around me. Shout out to my brother Cool. He kept me at it. He kept me recording. He kept me, sharpening my skills. And I had people, hey, you need to put that bread instead of buying this. Put that bread in there. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's what set me apart, just the endurance. And I'm gonna continue to do that. I'm gonna continue to chip away until I get the results that I want to see. And then when I get those results, I'm gonna make another goal, and then I'm gonna do it all over again. Um,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man, real quick, man, throw those fire signs in the chat for that, man. You got to keep on pushing, man. If you locked in with us, throw them fire signs in the chat. Also, throw your website in the chat if you're a business owner, if you have a brand, if you are a brand. Make sure you guys put those websites, post those social medias in the chat. This is what it's all about, man. I want to make sure that we connecting. That's what it's all about, man. Shout out to everybody that's tapped in. Shout out to Bells Masters, Blend. Shout out to Fast Lane AB. Shout out
what's
to
up?
my
What,
boy.
what up, AB?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Chrissy B Sings. What's going on? Um, who else we got? You Linda. What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, throw them fire signs in the chat, man. And like I said, throw them websites in the chat as well. This is why we do this, man. This is why we go live every single week, connect with the community, bring everybody together. And it's powerful. At the end of the day, when we bring the community together, when we bring different resources together, and really just share knowledge, man. We all have our different point of view. We all got experience in the game, so we want to make sure that we pushing that forth, pushing something positive too, man. It's too much BS out here in the community.
I agree.
Still staying raw with it, but it's okay to be positive, man. It's okay to be striving for something at the end of the day. So real quick, man, to get back to it, I know earlier you was talking about budgeting. Sometimes you gotta really just figure out how you're gonna budget and to really just kind of make it through at the end of the day. And this is something that we talk about within our module. This is module 4, financial literacy and budgeting. And this is something that we've really been touching on heavy this month because it's the 4th month. So module 4, month 4, financial literacy and budgeting. This is what we've been tapping on. So, how do you approach budgeting for your business, and what strategies do you use to ensure financial stability?
Well, I treat I treat it like a gamble. Like you got to bet on yourself. I treat it like a gamble. So I'm never putting myself in a position to where I'm big on speaking things into existence, but I also have to be a realist. So if it doesn't work out like I planned, I'm not gonna throw 10 chips if 10 chips gonna hurt me. I'm gonna throw six in. I'm gonna throw 5 chips in if I'm at the table. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be smart on it because I still, outside of my business, I still have a lifestyle that I upkeep, and I got people I take care of. So that's mainly important to me. I'm never gonna throw in what I'm gonna be sick about. You know, 2 weeks later, a month later. Um, and another person might have a different way of thinking about that. Hey, you gotta throw it all in. Hey, I'm a smart man. I got a lot of mouths I feed. Um, but I do know that you get in what you put out. You did what I'm talking about. So,
Yes, sir.
um, I'm really a believer in you put a comfortable amount, and then you're gonna get your return back. Then you get to step it up another level. Um, but I'm not one to make foolish investments. I'm not giving nobody my last dollar. I'm gonna hustle and get it until it's comfortable, and then we could do business.
Man, it's so crazy that you actually brought that up. Um, because I really wanted to kind of go into today's icebreaker question anyway, which kind of correlate with what you were just talking about. So real quick, man, I need my people in the chat real quick to turn up for us. We got an icebreaker question for you guys. What's the biggest impulse buy ever, and do you regret it or do you love it? What's your biggest impulse buy ever? And do you regret it or do you love it, man? Blow up the chat. I want to see y'all answers real quick, man. We need
So
y'all engaged. Let's do it, man. What you got? What you got for us, Matt?
I I always say that the devil. I don't know what y'all believe in, but the devil ain't gonna tempt you with nothing you don't want. He gonna tempt you with something you want. So I'm probably 26. Looking for a different vehicle. I had a lot of options. I had a lot of smart options I could have made. This I call this buy impulsive because obviously I did impulsively, but it was also a stupid purchase because I didn't know the breakdown of interest rates. The length of a loan means a lot, you know. So if you know by the name F1, I love cars. I love them since I was a little kid. I always had Hot Wheels. I always had all that shit. I was making a little bit of more money than I was used to making. 25, you know. So I said, man, I want a new whip, man. I want a new whip. Went and got a brand new Challenger, 0 miles. Got off the lot, All Star Dodge. I did that. Um, was it the smartest move to make? No, because I know that every month I'm paying my car note, but I'm looking at the total. Well, I paid $1,000. How come my car is X amount of dollars and the loan didn't go down $1,000? Oh, because you're paying interest. Because most of your play. it's a thing called principle, you know, and it didn't go, you know, so whatever. So I learned from that. It was impulsive buy. I don't have that car now because I smart, you know, I made a smart decision. I was able to pivot out of that, luckily. But you got to know about interest rates. That's important. Like that's not a thing that people talk to me coming up. I'm just used to having money and having cash and spending the cash. I'm looking at interest rate like what's 11%, 12%? Like 12% don't sound like a lot, but when you do the math, it's a lot, especially when you're paying over X amount of years. You know what I'm talking about? So that was
Sir.
probably the most impulsive buy amongst others, but that was probably about the highest impulsive buy that I ever done. Every once in a while, I spend a little bit more on a jacket than I should, but I could bounce back from that. That's okay. But that shit was
We
crazy.
all do it. We all do it. We all do it. We all do it. Hey, what's y'all answers, man? Let me see some answers in that chat, man. We got Fast Lane AB, a Hellcat, and I'm gonna do it again.
He still got it. I ain't got mine.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with it, man. You only live once, bro. You only live once. You know,
Yeah,
we do got to be smarter with, with our investments. But I understand, especially, as a young black man coming out the inner city, we don't have a lot of guidance, and that's what we see. That's what we want. We don't have a lot of financial literacy.
for sure.
um, we talked about this last week as well. It just sometimes you just don't know, man. You
I
really
know.
don't know what you don't know.
And I,
What
and I and I'll take you one up more and more. Sorry to interrupt. I'll take you one
you
more.
do?
That bread that I spent on that, and I was paying on folks for the interest, and it wasn't going towards the actual loan. I could have spent that on some marketing and went
Yeah,
and got it right, and then got that bread back and went and bought one cash. If I played it right,
yeah.
learning lesson
Hey, learning lesson at the end of the day, man. Let me see some more answers, man. What's your biggest impulse buy ever? And do you regret it or do you love it? Let's be real, man. Keep it real with me, man. Keep it real with me, my family. Let's go, man. Let me see some answers, man. We all had these impulses. You know what I mean? We all messed up. Especially me. I don't even want to talk about how much money I done messed up and threw down the drain. It
for
just be like that sometimes, man. We all need the extra funds. We all, live and learn at the end of the day. So, hey, let me see them answers. Let me see them answers. But real quick, man, while the chat blowing up, while they blowing up the chat with them answers, real quick, man, because we've been talking about marketing a lot. What's your craziest marketing strategy that actually worked best for your brand, and how did you come up with
So I was always kind of reluctant. I'm not gonna say that. Sometimes be in the music business. Sometimes you gotta tap in with people for the leverage, right? So I have a couple features, from artists that have a little bit more leverage than me right now as far as social media following, discography, and just all around just being known and popularity. Um, and I took a chance on the feature, and it worked out for me. It worked out for me just because of the name, just attaching myself to a name. Now, this doesn't just this isn't exclusive to just doing music. Sometimes you got to link with other brands in the same field, um, to get some traction. That's what happens sometimes. Just like Supreme collab with Nike. You know what I'm saying? Neither one of them really need each other, but it's good business, and if it's beneficial for both sides. So I think that was a good marketing just to have, that collab with F1 and said artist. Um, that did well for my numbers. And I'm gonna continue to do that if it makes sense with the art and it makes sense with the business. I'm gonna continue to do that
it?
when
Yes,
possible.
sir. Collaboration over competition, man. Let's do it, man. We can only do
Oh,
it together. We got to make it make sense at the end of the day. But as long as we're making it make sense, everybody happy.
yes,
So
sir.
real quick, speaking of that, what's your most memorable interaction you've had in your career, and how did it really, impact your approach?
Probably early on. Um, this is before I really started taking it serious as I do now. There was a studio session. I don't know where these guys are today. There's a studio session. If you're familiar with St. Louis area in Spanish Lake, used to be a studio over there. I don't even know if it's still there or not. But I was on another session and they was like, "Yo, uh, do you got anything?" You know what I'm saying? So I'm writing bars in there. I'm going in. These they songs. These are they songs, and I'm proceed to kill their ass on all of these songs. And that put a confidence in me that, oh, there's a difference. There's a little bit difference in between how you approach it and how other people may approach it. And it made me realize that I'm not a normal individual. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a confidence that you got to have through experience. And I think that little performance, um, that built the confidence in me to let me know that I'm sitting on kind of something special right now, and I could do something with this if I apply myself and try to figure out this algorithm and all the things that come along with it. But that was a big moment for me, confidence wise. I think everything that we do, it has to start with confidence. You got to believe in yourself. You
You
can't
gotta believe in yourself.
got to.
You gotta be a little crazy too, man, to actually not only believe in yourself but step out and actually take action towards it.
For
You
sure.
know, and that's something that hey, this something that we a lot about. I've been an entrepreneur for a long time back when it wasn't cool to be an entrepreneur. Everybody was like, "You sure?" Now it's like a trend, and I'm loving it, man. It's the best time to be an entrepreneur. It's the best time to really build something. Got a lot of tools, a lot of resources, a lot of people out here that's a lot more woke than usual. And we got a lot of tools, man. So real quick, man, they wanted to know in the chat who was the artist that you collaborated
Uh, so I got one I can't speak on right now because it hasn't released yet. But I do have a feature with Michael Rocks, Sir Michael Rocks. If you're familiar with the earlier era, he was part of the Cool Kids. We got a crazy feature together, along with Chrissy B. It's on my new album. It's called Shopping. It's an amazing song produced by Milky Fella. But yeah, it was Sir Michael Rocks. He came through for me, delivered a smooth verse, and it did a lot of. It's doing a lot currently for the promotion of my album, and just that name, people are clicking on it, and they're able to see the other things that I bring to the table, lyrically and artistically, and I appreciate him for that. Shout out to him, man. That was a major look for me.
with? I
And
love
shout out to Cool too. Cool put that together for me. He plugged me in with Michael Ross, man. So,
I love that, man. That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. At the end of the day, man, plugging each other in, connecting each other together, and figuring it out together, man. We all trying to figure this thing out. We all are students of the game, man. So, once we realize that we can really make a lot of things happen, and we haven't, for the people that have realized that, especially for the beautiful people that's been, rocking with us, and really that's been a part of the MOB community. That's one of the best things that I love about our community. We love connecting each other. We love connecting new people and dropping gems and not gatekeeping, man. Let's figure it out together. Let's get like-minded individuals together. If other people that see the vision, and that's willing to invest in that vision, whether it's time or money, at the end of the day. So, real quick, man. Speaking of that, I want to talk about something that we talk about in Module 7, which is operations and logistics, because this is something that really don't get talked about a lot, especially coming from somebody that deal with a lot of logistics. With us overseeing different campaigns and curating different events and activities, and working with different clients. Figuring out logistics is super important. Can you describe a significant operational challenge you've had and how you overcame it to improve your efficiency, as far as an artist?
yeah, I think, and that's something I'm fine tuning. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and get on here and act like I got it all figured out. That's something that I'm currently actively improving on. As far as just getting outside and showing my face in more rooms. And the couple times that I've done it, it's helped me. tremendously, and I think it's going to continue to do that. But I think we get caught up in, especially especially as artists, we get caught up in, okay, I love to record. That's fine. You got to come outside. You know what I'm saying? I love to perform. That's fine. You got to bump elbows. You got to bump shoulders with some of these people and talk to these people. Um, and just like you said earlier, jump outside your comfort zone. So logistically, you know, me traveling to another city and tapping in with what art, whatever artists are going, you know, whatever artists are popping out there, tapping in with these DJs, showing them my face in the place so they know, you know what I'm saying, what I bring. That's a big thing. I was telling my partners, we was talking about the album. I said, we're gonna continue to drop music, but I'm treating this like a presidential campaign. I gotta shake hands and kiss babies, and that's a part of it. That's what they do. You want to be president, you got to go to these different cities and tap into these different markets because we can do a lot from our computer, which is true, and I love it. But at the end of the day, you gotta touch the soil a little bit sometimes, and that's something I'm improving on. If I'm being candid, I'm not 100%. I don't have it mastered yet. I'm not as consistent as I like, but I guarantee you, I'm gonna get there because I'm trying to get this money, and we gotta
Hey,
go out. You gotta show your face in a different place. You got to.
I feel like I just literally said the same quote to one of our members, man. Because like I said, we got a lot of things coming, especially in Atlanta, man. Shout out to Mob Atlanta, all our Mob family in
I'm
Atlanta,
gonna get
man.
down there.
Hey, the marathon continues. Like we got a bunch of major festivals coming up. It's always something going on, within the Atlanta market, and I love it. And I was telling some of our members out in Tennessee, like, yeah, man, it's really that time to, pop outside of your backyard. We can't stay within our backyard and be content with, even if you pop it in your backyard, you can't be content with it's a whole world out here.
Yeah, you
Um,
can't.
you
Because
know,
I look at my statistics on where my music is being played at, and of course, St. Louis showed me love. I love St. Louis. The people that know me show me so much love. Album, the reposts, all that. I appreciate all that. But just looking at the overall statistics, St. Louis ain't the only place where they listen to my music at, and
mm,
that's my duty to go out there and show love for them supporting me. So whether it's Texas, they show love. New York, Kansas City show me a lot of love. Gotta start touching those markets, you know what I'm saying, and showing your appreciation and showing your face and tapping in with the artist so you can even expand beyond that because that's important, man. I think we get caught up in the social media and that's very powerful. Like I said, you gotta show your face, bro. You got to.
yeah, most definitely. It was, and people respect you a lot more. They respect what you're doing. That was one of the ways that we really expanded Exclusive Models magazine. Once people seen, because my city is a crab in a barrel city. I love my city. Shout out to Detroit. But you know,
Everyone.
at the end of the day, they want to see who else rocking with you. So really, it really leveled up once we started. Once we hit our first tour, we started going to different places. People seeing us pop out. That's when they really started to take our platform more serious. And you know what? I don't even blame them. Like some people, be mad at it. Like, oh, they feel like they city's supposed to show them the love first. But at the end of the day, man, it made us go out there and earn our stripes. It made us go out there and hit that pavement hard because at first I did have resentment. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna pop out and take over the world. And we're gonna come back to the city and they gonna show us love because they watching. You know what I mean? They watching. So and that's what we did, man. We hit every single market, big to small. We grew that magazine to be international, and now we reaping the benefits by being able to have a diverse community. And that's why we got a diverse community because we've been moving around, man. So it's very important. I tell all our members, all our clients, man, we got to step outside the box and and really reach some, even overseas. It's a lot of different markets overseas that you really want to tap into, especially when you're doing these marketing, campaigns and sponsored ads. That's why I love the internet. Step popping out is super important, but also having a digital presence and digital real estate is super important as well because And this is why it's the best time to be an entrepreneur and to grow something because we have a platform to go international overnight. Somebody over in Bahrain or Ghana or we get a lot of love in a lot of small countries too, small, super small countries that, and some of them I never even heard of.
Mhm.
So being able to collect this data, collect that, and making sure that you tend to them is super important. Shout out to everybody that we got overseas. Shout out to our London family. We've been
So
doing the campaigns out that way. And it's that time, man. We international with it. We gotta move like that. So speaking of that, real quick, man, I really want to, and this is a big one, man. I really want to talk about funding and investment because we all know it takes a little cheddar to move around at the end of the day. I like, even with our first tour, I literally spent everything we had to really pull off that tour. And by the grace of God, we was able to really execute enough to, recruit on our second tour. But it takes some money. I can't even lie. So, what advice would you give to any artists or entrepreneurs seeking funding for the first time based on your own experience?
you got to have, obviously this is no brainer, but you got to have a source of income, right? So if you're trying to be an artist, don't feel no shame. Go get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Go whatever you got to do, bro. Whatever you got to do within the means of, y'all know what I'm talking about. But do what you got to do, okay? If you got to do Uber, if you got to do whatever you got to do, you got to work some overtime. You know, you got to fund this somehow. And a good 90% of us, we are not blessed to have a sponsor or anything. You know, especially I don't want no sponsor, but as a male hip hop artist, nobody's gonna sponsor you. You know, so you have to do what you got to do as far as if you got to work extra hours. You know, if you got to dip in that 401k a little bit, if you got to, hop in the shoebox, dive in the shoebox and get that money out of there, you got to do it. Now, still, you want to be able to take care of your business and pay your bills. That's first, is most important. Take care of home, but don't be ashamed to work a job. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee. I know people who have other businesses. It's not in entertainment. See them at work, and then they go home, and that helps fund their business outside of work. I know a barber. He got a construction company too. Let that job fund the other job that you want to do until you're able to cut off that. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be hard work. You're gonna have to work twice as hard, but it's gonna pay off later on. And if I'm being candid, that's where I am right now. I got a daily hustle, and that's funding this rap. It's funding this rap. So you know, it is what it is. And one day
That's
I'll be able to just do that.
that's one of the best gems you could possibly give, man. That's we really need
Ain't no
to.
shame in getting no money.
Hey, ain't no shame in getting no money, man. At the end of the day, all means necessary. We gotta make sure that we paying the bills, man. We gotta make sure we're making it happen because nobody is gonna give it to you.
Nah.
Nobody is gonna
Nah,
give it to you.
and this is for the especially the young men. Once you realize that nobody's coming to save you or help you, you're gonna be better off. As a man, I know you can relate to this. Of course, we have people who love us, but our as a man, our whole life is performance based, right? So nobody really cares about what excuses you may have. Who's my dog? Somebody must be at the door. Anyway, nobody cares about what excuses you may have. You just gotta go get it. You know, it's performance based.
Yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it, man. At the end of the day, um, real quick, man. What's a key factor that really contribute most to your growth? And how did you really, identify and capitalize off the opportunity? I know you was talking about, really doing features and doing collaborations, but what other key factors, would you really say really contribute most to your growth?
I think studying. Uh, I think, and you can apply this to any field that you may be in. Someone's done it before you, right?
Hmm.
So Let me study on how they did it and fine tune it to make it work for me. Whether that's from an artistic standpoint or a business standpoint, which is something I'm currently studying now. Um, but I just worked on my craft and kept the main thing. Sub sub way of thinking though. I wasn't really thinking that I was honing my craft, but I just kept on doing what I want to do, and I got better subconsciously at it. As far as this music goes, I was actually listening to my project I dropped in 2020, which was a great project. People loved it, but just to see my growth since then, um, and see what I just did with this project I dropped on April 20th. Um, the skill gap between those two has allowed me to be in certain rooms that I wasn't in prior. It allowed me to get a certain amount of attention and love and magnetism to my project and my artwork that I didn't have before, if I'm being quite frankly. So just making sure I just stayed in the kitchen and stayed cooking and stayed adding a little seasoning here and moving around and trying things outside my comfort zone. That allowed me to do a lot of different things, and I think once the world get a little bit of taste of what I got going on, it's only going to be a snowball effect from there. But uh, I know
Most
we talk about business, but it's very important to whatever craft you're doing, whether you have a bakery or you have a lawn service. Don't ever feel like you're too good to get better. As good as I am at rapping and putting words together, I want to take it up another level. Y'all like that? Watch what I do next. Watch.
yes, sir.
You like how I cut your yard last time? Watch how I cut your yard next time.
That's really the key to being great. You know what I'm saying? If you're not thinking like that, if you're just trying to get by and do the least possible, you not that's really that's the line between being great. And speaking of that, man, this I don't want to hold you up too much longer. This is the
No, you
last.
good, bro. We good. I appreciate y'all having me here. I love. Look, I want to say this and give you your flowers. I salute what you got going on. You got merchandise. You got shoes. You got a membership that you can sign up. You really out here hustling, bro, and that's motivation for me. I don't got no excuse. You got merch, a program. You connecting people, bro. Motivation. I need this. This is what I need to see, and I'm tapped in, bro.
I ain't gonna lie, like and I appreciate you for real, but it's all about the community, man. I wouldn't be nothing without the team that we have. I'm my mentors that really poured into me, that set me down when I was, really young and just moving around, and like you said earlier, bro, like none of us got it all figured out. That's the key to really growing is understanding that you always gonna be a student to the game,
Got to be.
and it's always room for growth. And if you're not doing that, you're not doing nothing. So, every single year we try to push that bar. And and for those of you guys that have been rocking with us for years, you guys been seeing how we've been elevating. Every single year we want to add something, add some type of value to what we got going on. Last year we added, the live stream studio, what we going now. The year before that, we added, um, I believe, business plans. Uh, we've been adding so much, and that really comes from us being in our community too, being able to, link with other corporations, collaborate with other great experts, like the Enterprise Theater Channel. Shout out to them. Shout out to Roku TV. Shout out to all of the different brands that we've been able to work with. Shout out to our social media team out in Puerto Rico, and all around the world that we've been working with, to really kind of elevate and add value to what we got going on, because we see the problems that's going on because we're working in the field. You putting those boots to ground, you see what's going on. So we're just trying to provide solutions to what's really going on out here, man. But speaking of really being great, this is something that I like to talk about. If not the most, and it boils back to mindset. At the end of the day, so how has your mindset evolved as a leader and as a creator, and what practices do you incorporate to maintain that positive spirit?
Knowing that I have people who literally depend on me, their success depends on me. Uh, in regards to the children that I have, in regards to the people who believe in me, the people in my circle, the other talented people that I work with all the time. knowing that my success can affect them in such a positive way, um, and realizing that, at the beginning, I didn't realize how many people truly looked at me as a leader and looked at me to be successful and poured into, my business and poured into me being an artist. That's all the inspiration I need. So knowing that, that's elevated me to another level. Knowing that currently, I'm the oldest male in my family, outside of my father, right? So I'm a leader of many, and I'm a brother to many. I'm a father. You dig what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Uh, I'm a husband. So I got people depending on me to be successful, and I don't want the sacrifice that I make, dealing with my business, uh, to be for nothing. So, I go hard, and I'm gonna do it until everybody's in a position that I want them at. You know what I'm saying? From an educational standpoint, it's very important to me. From a financial standpoint, until I get done with all that, and I can really chill and lay back, I'm just keep on doing what I'm doing and keep on pushing this and pushing my gift, my God given gift to the world. But that's been a big difference to me, realizing that, hey, you are truly blessed and you are truly um, talented, So let's do something with it, Let's not just let it sit around and really do what you have to do to get it out to the world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, that's what it's all about, man. That motivation, man. We all each other's motivational partners. I like to call them accountability partners. I think we all need that person or those people, that village to, keep you pushing, man, keep you motivated. Especially with all the distractions and all the negativity in the world. Every single one of us need these things, man. So, that's why I said before, I thank God for my mentors, and I thank God for my partners that I have now, in the village, the community that we have now, because that motivates me to get up every single day and go hard. Like, how can we, we need this to get up off the ground. How can we push this? Because I love really being able to be the one, or be a part of the success. I don't want to just sit back and wait till somebody gets successful.
Yeah,
You want to be a part of the movement and watch the growth. And I think that's the most beautiful payoff, and the most beautiful part about what we do. We get to watch the growth and see people go from, to here to the next level, whatever level. They might start on level 1, or they might already be on level 20 and just trying to get on level 21. You get what I'm saying? Level 25 or level 30. So, it's always elevation. We always got growing to do, man. But real quick, man, let the people know where they can find you, what you got coming up next, man, and let's do it from there.
for sure, man. Hey, F1Mac on all social media platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, F1Mac on all that, Twitter, F1 not the two, um, YouTube, F1Mac, F1 not the two as well. Tap in with me, man. Mac Gala out. It's the album of the year. I know a lot of people say that, but when you listen, you will agree. Um, yeah, just tap in with me, man. We got a lot of dope music coming out. MFK, Cool Louie, shout out to him. We got a project coming out. AB's coming out. Bobby Band's coming out. Trey's coming out. Sid's coming out. Everybody under the MFK Music Group umbrella. But right now it's Matt Gala time, man, and tap in with me. Competition package. My latest video is out on YouTube right now. Matt Gala, the video, the album title video is out as well. So tap in what I got going on, man. We make some major moves. Make on a project. I work with a lot of great producers. Milky Fella, he's a Jet Life producer. Fly Nonsense, Cool Louie produced on there. Why Sleep, a great new producer coming out, and we're gonna continue to work. And if you want to work with me, I'm a student of the game. If you want to work with me on any capacity, don't feel afraid to hit me up. I'm all for networking and learning new trades and learning new skills to keep on building this empire, man. I appreciate y'all tapping in with F1 not the two.